So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our midday speaker meeting. We're really pleased to just be in partnership with Community Connection, who is joining us here today to present, and specifically the Career Services Program for Peers. So, we have three speakers today, Aisha, Tori, and Erica, who will be sharing information about the Career Services Program. We also have interpretation available. So Jordi Virales is our interpreter, and I'm just going to explain briefly how the interpretation works, and Jordi will interpret that, and then I'll open up the channels for folks to join. So in order to join the interpretation channels, you'll see a globe at the bottom of your screen. You'll click that globe and select the language that you want to listen in.
Muy buenas tardes a todos. Para todos nuestros hispanoparlantes, servicios de interpretación simultánea serán ofrecidos. En el momento que se aperture la función, verán en la pantalla en la parte inferior un icono de un globo en el cual podrán escoger el lenguaje de su preferencia si nos acompañan por medio de una computadora, si nos acompañan por medio de un teléfono celular. En los tres puntos en la parte inferior de su pantalla a la derecha pueden presionarles y presionen More. Escogen el lenguaje de preferencia y silencian el audio original para solo escuchar la interpretación. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Jordi. I will open up the channels now.
Aperturaremos los canales en este momento.
Excellent. All right. I would love to invite our speakers to share some really important information about a resource for our community.
Thank you so much for your time. Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Sharps. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. I'm really honored to be with you today. I love Nami's work here. And I would love to introduce or have my colleague Tori and Erika, if she's in the house. You have so many people. I'm just getting down there. There she is, to introduce yourselves as well, friends.
I can go first. I'm Tori. I work with the Opportunity Connection program. We do mental health services, one-on-one counseling, as well as outpatient groups for the community. And yeah, I would hope to share a little bit more about that after career services.
Hello, my name is Erika Rodriguez. I'm in Career Services and I am bilingual in the Career Services too. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Erika. If you have any questions in Espanol, Erika can also take them. You can also write her. If you have clients who are bilingual, please reach out to us. We're really happy to help. And Erika, I know every once in a while in our office in Watsonville, if we have Wi-Fi problems, just let me know on my cell phone, okay, friend? Thank you. All right, folks, I'm just going to get into it here so I can, I think my presentation might be a bit shorter than the full-on hour, but I have some slides for you. Please feel free to get copies of the slides or share them later if it is helpful for you. I should have shared this in my PowerPoint. All right. Tori, is this just showing? I know it's showing my whole thing, but is it still like readable this way? Because I don't feel like re-downloading it. It's legible.
It seems readable for me. Is there a way to make the box larger?
Is that the same
It is the
now?
same.
Yeah, I had a feeling. All right, give me one sec. Tori, do you want to tell us a little about OC since
Absolutely.
I would love to re-download this as a PowerPoint. That'll just be easier. Sorry, friends.
Sure, I will take the floor just for a bit. So Opportunity Connection, what we do, we have two locations, one in Santa Cruz at 300 Harvey West, and then we have another location at 10 Carr Street in Watsonville. Both offer a day program, which is mental health like classes or groups, and they range from mental health to coping skills to symptom management, There's art groups, music groups. We take folks out to the park. Yesterday, we took all of our participants out to Henry Cowell. We hope to get to the beach and to just to do fun things with people in the community. That's really like a core cornerstone of what we want to do is give people a space to find community, but also give back. So we also provide one-on-one counseling, and what that looks like is we have a few different people in South County that do some case management and also one-on-one counseling, and then we have the same thing in Santa Cruz. So we can meet folks out in the community, which is really great. And then we also do have a housing navigator, like I want to say resilient living is what they call Aaron, and he helps folks that are transitioning in transition housing or something like that, just with the mental health portion of it. So that's really great. And then we also have Diane here on our end that does college connection with anybody that is having needs mental health support that is also enrolled in Cabrillo. So they can meet once a week or as needed. So that's kind of what we do on our side, and that is more mental health focused, but I'll shoot it over to Aisha and she'll tell you a little bit more about the career services.
Thank you so much. And I do want to confirm, Tori, you all, if somebody's in OC or resilient living, that means they can also get employment support through there. Like I'm going to talk with everyone else about it, but I just want to reiterate that because it's not just career services. If you want help right away, these folks can actually help you just a little faster than career services can. And I would love to do like a beach day or park collab with NAMI maybe in summer. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, so I'm ready. Thank you, Tori, for giving me that chance there to download it as a PowerPoint. You're a hero, as always. Well, again, friends, my name's Aisha, she, her pronouns. We're going to talk about some tips on getting hired, and then what we do here and all our programs, the way we support folks in finding work and how to get into career services. So, I got into working with supportive employment and career services about 6 years ago. So, this has been a real focus of mine in growing our program for quite a while. It's something that I love. Is everyone seeing my slides clearly now over the whole screen? Okay, thank you. Community Connection is an agency that provides support for folks with mental health challenges. And this means everything like Tori explained, groups. There's a day program down in Watsonville and one here. We provide employment assistance, which is provided in most of our programs we have. You're going to get some spots if you want to take a screenshot to go and find all our information on our website so that you can contact or refer to our programs. The things I'm going to cover today, kind of a little list here for you. I'm going to discuss our co-op with the Department of Rehabilitation and Santa Cruz County Behavioral Health, what we use the recovery model for. We're going to discuss IPS, which is individual placement supports. It's kind of best practice in helping folks with mental health challenges, substance use disorder, and other barriers to employment. It's been a hot topic that everyone's worried about. And when I first talked to you all, it sounded like you would like some information about Medi-Cal and CalFresh requirements for work and volunteering. So I've made sure to add that to my presentation, and we'll talk about community connection programs that can help you. Something that I'm very passionate about is IPS. And why? Because of these 8 principles. It believes in zero exclusion. So we shouldn't meet somebody and say, gosh, they don't seem like they're ready to work. Just because someone is symptomatic or hears voices or has challenges, that does not exclude them from our support to help them find work. And we believe in that as a #1 principle. If you want to find work, we want to help. And it's competitive employment. It's not a partnership with a place that hires entirely people with disabilities, although I think a place like that is great, and I'm a huge fan of them when I find these places across the US. the way that IPS works is that it is competitive employment. We talk a lot about what your skills are and want to get you employment in the thing that is a good fit for you. And that means caring about worker preference. So again, not trying to force somebody to be a grocery store bagger if that's not what they want or what their degree is in or what their goal is. And it means rapid job search. So really, how many of us have been really motivated to do something, but all the sign up and all the process takes so long that by the time you get there, like your motivation has changed. So IPS says that we just go for it. You are motivated and we try to help you right away, which is why I love connecting folks with Resilient Living and the program that Tori helps oversee, because career services can take longer to get into, and we want you to start job searching right away if you're motivated. Integrated mental health services means that hopefully whoever's in our program decides to sign, that we can speak with their mental health team at Santa Cruz County Behavioral Health, at IBH, or wherever someone's seeing a therapist, because best practice is including everybody in your care team on like your work goals in case your depression kicks up or you need some advice for your therapist on work. They know that you're doing that and can check in on that. We found that most helpful, particularly if somebody becomes symptomatic and needs extra support, that there's kind of a couple more people in your care team that know what's going on about your job search or starting a new job, something like that. And something really important, I don't know how many of you all have been on disability or applied for disability, who've been on SNAP benefits, CalFresh, who receive Medi-Cal. Working can affect those benefits. And so one of our goals is to always connect you with a benefits counselor, because you should know how working can affect those benefits that are really important to you. And you can have somebody to assess what you should do. For example, some of our clients get a shot for their mental health, and that shot can cost upwards of $3,000 to $6,000 with some insurances. So for that person, they might say, gosh, I only want to work 20 hours a week, 15 hours a week based on their salary that they discussed with a benefits planner, so that they don't have to give up their Medi-Cal, which helps them afford their essential medicine. So benefits planning, really important so that you have informed decision making around how working will affect those benefits. And then follow along supports. I wish career services could provide more follow along supports, but with my program, after you've had a job for 90 days, we congratulate you and try to send a referral to a different agency and or a different program at career services, so that if you have something come up at work, you have someone to reach out to about it. If someone got written up at work and it was because they had to call out sick too many times, but because they had physical or mental health symptoms, if they're working with Resilient Living or Tori and OC, that gives you a chance to talk to somebody about that and maybe workshop, how do I talk to my boss about that? How do I get a sick note from my doctor? How do I protect myself in the workplace with accommodations, or workshopping things to say to a boss if you have anxiety or worries about that? Something we're really big on here that Community Connection is based on is the recovery model. And the philosophy of both IPS and our agency is that employment is an intervention. We believe that volunteering or getting employment is so important that it can improve your mental health. You're getting involved in something, you're being part of community, you are making a little extra money so you can do those things with your friends that you wanted to do on a weekend before you had extra cash. You can maybe move into your own apartment or what you needed for your mental health in your space. So we believe that working or volunteering is part of the recovery model, and so is being in community. And that means that also staff work on modeling what recovery looks like through empowering our clients, empowering you, empowering our friends, empowering each other, which Tori and Erika both do a lot for me in that regard. So thank you both. Something that I think is, I don't think it can be an uncomfortable, challenging part of support, but it's important to discuss our risks and challenges honestly. Because if we discuss them, especially at the beginning of our working together, or if you know, it's okay if career services or OC or our programs aren't the right one for you, but if you friends are working on employment, I encourage you to discuss with your mental health team your risks and challenges, because doing that when you're feeling well is important so that if those things come up, you notice it. You're seeing when your symptoms come up, you have a plan for what to do. Maybe in past years, you see that you would start a bunch of jobs and something would happen, you'd get symptomatic or manic and just quit your job. And so you had 6 jobs over 2 years, and that's a goal of yours to handle that. That's okay. Just being honest about your risks and challenges, I think, is key to getting and maintaining employment. We all have barriers, and it's just being forthcoming as much as we can with ourselves, our mental health team, and sort of getting that integrated support for it. I think that other risks and challenges can be employer outreach. Sometimes folks need to disclose at their job. Maybe they want to make sure that this job is a place where they can talk about their mental health and they don't want to ask it after they've already been hired. So, a program like ours, you can sign a release of information and staff can ask a hiring manager. They don't have to specifically talk about you at first, or if you don't want, right? That's what a release of information is for. You choose what somebody speaks with an employer about, but it gives them the chance to support you by finding out if a place you're applying to or a place you already work would be supportive of that. And finally, in when it comes to risks and challenges in our county, things can be really, really expensive. And so housing is hard. I would think that housing connection is essential to the success in employment. If you don't have housing, if you don't have stable housing, get on a housing list. It takes a while, but it is a bigger challenge for people to find work when their bare basic needs of safety and security and housing aren't handled. So kind of just being honest with yourself and seeing what we can do to support you in a lot of different ways. But most importantly, that you're in a place where working is possible for you. I am sorry to share with you the next information. It is not me. I did not design the system. These things might change. Please note my caveat. We expect the government to roll out more information. The state of California is supposed to tell us by June how CalFresh, SNAP benefit, or food stamps will be affected by work requirements, and the Medicaid, Medi-Cal, or CCAH insured folks. But this is currently what we believe, according to online sources from the state, which are coming down from the federal government. We believe as of now that people between 19 to 64 who have CalFresh or Medicaid will need to volunteer or work 80 hours a month and do the paperwork for that to keep their benefits. There's lots of exemptions, and I've sort of listed the simple ones there, but I don't have all the information about what the specific medical exemptions are. We, as mental health care providers, of course, hope that mental health care, mental health diagnoses are going to be an exception. Currently, substance use disorder and people enrolled currently in substance use disorder treatment facilities are supposed to be exempted, but we don't know if that's what it's going to look like eventually. So those are the folks that we believe currently might get an exemption. And again, we expect more information to come out before it is 100% required. They're saying the state needs to roll this out by October, but we will see if it's a thing where they give them a deadline and then they keep pushing it out. The state is supposed to email you if you are a SNAP or Medicaid recipient or someone whose benefits will be affected by this. They are supposed to notify you by mail. So if you, like me, hate checking your physical mailbox, make sure you're doing it right now, because you might get really important in paperwork to be able to keep those things up. I can answer sort of some generic questions about this, but this is not my field of expertise. I am here to help be a solution for these things as they come up, but I, like you, am waiting to see how it all shakes out. The one thing that I have been able to do to help be a solution to this challenge that has arisen is we got approved to be a CalFresh ENT location. And apparently that means education and training. So we're hoping that we can expand employer services and career services, or employment services rather, to support all sorts of folks who have had any kind of CalFresh support with training, supportive employment, and that sort of thing. Contracts for that are expected to go into effect in October, because that's when the state believes that they will have to start cutting people based on paperwork. Now, if you're somebody who feels really overwhelmed by paperwork and the thought of all that, I get like that a little bit, right? If I have to deal with something and it feels like a lot, I tend to have a little bit of anxiety over that. I can be a little avoidant when it comes to dealing with things that sound terrible. So let's say you just want like an accountability buddy to make sure you're staying on track with that. Our Resilient Living program and OC, who Tori is with, are a great resource for connecting with someone who can meet with you regularly and help you tackle those things that feel like a lot, where you have to fill out paperwork or make sure you are sending something back to the government so you can keep your food access benefits. So please feel free to reach out. We're going to talk a little more about how you can refer yourself or get referred to our programs, but if just the paperwork and all of these things feel like a lot, and you would like an accountability buddy or someone to help you with that, highly recommend getting signed up with OC or Resilient Living to help with just some of those goals so you don't feel overwhelmed. Just let's say that you want to get right into work right now and you want someone to help you with that. You don't have to wait for our October program, most likely, if you can fit into any of these programs. The first one is Wellness Connect. They serve transition age youth, so ages 15 to 25. You could be probably eligible for that if you are that age. Career Services requires applying to the Department of Rehabilitation first. That's our funder. And it's kind of a long application, but Jasmine and Erika and I are there to help with that. Erika helps out with the Spanish language applications, and then Jasmine and I help out in general with all the other ones. So even if it's a long application, if you're up to it, we will email it to you. You can return it to us. If you want a pal to help you with this like 20-page thing, come in and see Jasmine and I, and we will make you coffee or tea, get you a drink, and help you fill out the many pages and turn it in for you. And if you sign an ROI, we will also take responsibility to follow up with the Department of Rehabilitation and make sure that they're getting back to you. The bummer is that the DOR now can take 60 to 90 days to get back to a person about their application, and they're starting a wait list. So if this sounds like some support that you would like, if you would like the additional support of career services through the Department of Rehabilitation, it might be a good time for you to apply. If you want that support sometime before summer, maybe consider applying now. Let's say again that sounds like a lot, or you want help with that, Resilient Living Program and OC, you can sign up for them and do an intake pretty quickly. All of those programs help with job exploration, resumes, interviews, employer conversations. You say, oh, how do I disclose? I have a big resume gap and work for 6 years, and I'm really worried. How do I tell an employer that? We're ready to help you problem solve that, maybe get some language around disclosure ready. I needed to take care of my health, and that has now been resolved. And we can sit there with you and workshop those things together. Our Resilient Living program, something else I've truly enjoyed seeing people get support from, because I think that it's awesome. And having someone there that you can just meet with to talk about these challenges, or maybe your mental health would be better if you went to the beach and you need an accountability buddy. Resilient Living. Maybe you can get out there and talk to someone about your mental health while taking a walk through the redwoods. That's what Tori took our OC participants to do yesterday with adorably packed little lunch bags too. Yeah. So again, Resilient Living Program can help you with employment, education access, volunteerism, things that will check the boxes for you to keep your benefits when those requirements come up. There we go. This is another thing if you are interested and you want to sort of navigate this on your own or you want to get back to volunteering. This QR code might be really helpful. You can also just go to scvolunteercenter.org and click on all the links that'll take you through to where you volunteer. But Tori, Erica, and I were part of Community Connection, which is the mental health wing of the Volunteer Center. The VC is our umbrella organization that does tons of other things, and the volunteer opportunities aren't with us. We have a database, or only with us. We have a database where you can go and volunteer in something you care about. It gives you something current on your resume, which can help you get past those evil little AI bots on Indeed that are making sure to only pass on resumes where people have current experience. It'll give you references, especially if you've been out of work for a while. It'll give you the hours you need to keep your SNAP benefits. And we really, again, believe that volunteering and being a part of community is a form of support that can help you in recovery. The popular ones are beach and river cleanup. You can do it as a group. NAMI could all go down and volunteer at the beach together. We just passed one of our biggest volunteer days, which is MLK Day. And there's really super specific interests. I think one of the ways I found the volunteer center 7 or 8, 9 years ago, when I just moved back into Santa Cruz, was with volunteering with the LGBTQ organization here in town, the Diversity Center, and I found those volunteer opportunities through the VC. So we collaborate with tons of nonprofits. Even if NAMI needs volunteers, I hope you all go onto our website and then sign up to get your agency more volunteers. Did anybody, if you all want to ask questions at the end, I'm happy to tackle that. But based on your social media post about what today was about, shout out to Tori on our socials for sharing things and telling me that we wanted to focus on resumes and getting hired. I did add this slide, and I am happy to go into talking about it. We are about 30 minutes in, so I have plenty of time. This will take maybe 10 minutes to discuss. So I'm happy to do questions now and then do tips for hiring if you'd like.
I think you're doing great. Why don't you go through this and we will have questions at the end. This is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much. Sounds good. All right. So because we wanted to talk about goals related to employment, here are the tips and tricks from career services that I'm sure all of our other programs are following. And with that new promotion I was telling you all about earlier, I now get to do trainings for the VC and probably for your agency again someday if you'd like it. I know that we'll be making sure that people are trained on these, but here's the questions we ask first. We look at resume gaps, how to refresh your resume. If you have an older resume that kind of has a template that honestly went out of style 10 years ago, you can go on Google, you can go to your Gmail, you can go to Google Docs and find a different template that might look a little better. I love a pop of color somewhere because I've also been a hiring manager. And something that makes your resume stand out from everyone else's might just be a little pop of color that makes me look at it a little longer or be creative. I once, took the extra time to call someone and find out about them and eventually interview them and hire them because they had a resume that had sunshine and flowers behind it. And I loved it so much. And I think that our team tends to be really positive and sunny and unique. So I thought, oh, okay, if you're going to do that on your resume, I want to talk to you a little bit more and see if I can put you on our top 10 interview list. What are your transferable skills? Maybe you are asking oh, sorry, I want to go back and discuss resume gaps. I did sort of mention on the last one. One way that we suggest you get rid of some resume gaps or you get something current is you go and volunteer at a place regularly in something either related to what you want to work in or perhaps in a place that has transferable skills. You want to work with animals, but you haven't done that recently. Maybe you go and volunteer at the SPCA, or you get a gig work job with Rover walking people's dogs so you can have a bunch of really great references about you working with people's animals. So just addressing resume gaps, refreshing your resume, and making sure that the experience on the resume that you are sending an employer sort of matches what they want. It's really awesome if you've had experience in other things, but make sure that your resume is sort of matching what you're seeing the job description say, even if it kind of means you need to redo the resume regularly. I'm sorry. Like, don't hyperfixate on it. Don't let it make you put off applying to something that you love, but also make sure that your resume kind of matches. If you are applying again to work with animals, something on your resume should say, Tori loves animals. She's owned pets. She's pet sits for her neighbors. Erika has had all different kinds of animals, including cats, dogs, and birds. Like something on your resume should match that so that the employer wants to see what else you have to share and if your skills match. Speaking of skills, transferable skills. Just because you didn't work in a field before doesn't mean that you wouldn't be good at that thing. Sometimes I have found my best new jobs by asking, what are my transferable skills? I worked on an ambulance, and then next I worked in an emergency room because those are kind of similar. After that, I worked in planning medical conferences when I lived in Abu Dhabi because that's a thing people needed. And because I'd worked in hospitals and in emergency medicine, a lot of transferable skills. And I already know a lot about types of medicine, what they're for, what an ENT doctor is for. So we really believe that if you look at your skills, you might find a lot of new jobs that are a good fit for you. Speaking of that, what kinds of jobs, like we think one of the most successful ways to look for jobs, especially if you have a sense of urgency, is by looking at what the top jobs are in Santa Cruz. Tori, I'm actually going to make sure I share this with you later, but this link should hopefully be shareable with everyone because it's just a list of top growing jobs in Santa Cruz. And you all will notice if you go to see that link that it is food service, caregiving, some managerial stuff, medical support things like medical assistant, CNA. Those are a majority of the top 25 or 40 growing jobs in Santa Cruz. That list shows you how many people are expected to leave the job, how many people are expected to go to new jobs in that field. And I think that can be a great way to get into working quickly by just being data driven and saying what job hires more. Sadly, we've had people who have great tech skills that unfortunately have been in career services for a while because tech's doing a lot of layoffs and there's less jobs. So with that, a person like that, I'm going to say, okay, what transferable skills do you have? You could maybe go and work. Could you work at IT at a hospital who hires their own IT people? Could you work in the Geek Squad at Best Buy? Could you work at a small nonprofit like the Volunteer Center where they have one or two IT people? So it's a matter of looking at your transferable skills and then kind of looking at what you have time for and who hires. So let's say you're going to school and you could only work on a weekend. Do you have to work? Do you have to? Would that be too hard on your mental health? Would it work out for your availability? I've seen folks go and apply for a ton of jobs, interview for a job, and then be like, oh, I couldn't take it because it was full time. It's a thing we should look at even though you can go in and sometimes you can talk an employer and say, hey, what if I work part time? What if, is that possible? usually more effective in a job search if you're looking for part-time to just only apply for the things that will fit with their schedule. If we are lucky, if we're really blessed in this world, we get a look at the alignment and values of an agency. I have seen this be so important for people that they truly, for their mental or physical health, needed to only work at a place that aligned with their values because it was just too hard to do otherwise. And I think that's an important thing to ask yourself. I certainly know that I want to stay at a place like the Volunteer Center and Community Connection, even if I were to make twice as much money over the hill, because of the way that I've seen it line up with my values. So sometimes perhaps you want to get into an agency because you know you love it. If you know you love it that much, if you know that working at UCSC would be your dream, or the library, or the post office, then it might be a matter of seeing how you can fit into one of their part-time jobs, their temp jobs, so that you can get a foot in the door at a place where it aligns with your values, if that's the most important thing. I think interviewing is really important in landing a job. Most of the time, having someone to talk to and practice interviewing might be one of the most secure ways to do well, to not blame yourself. If you don't get it, also having that support person to talk to you after an interview, I've seen be really pivotal to people's mental health. If I could just wave a wand, I would, of course, find you all jobs with great insurance and benefits and lots of vacation. But I would also want to help job seekers to not internalize not getting a call back, not getting the job you really wanted, being one of the top 3 to 5 people who were interviewed out of hundreds of resumes is still actually really great. I've just seen it weigh heavy on a lot of people, and I'm trying to always encourage them, and I'm asking you all, if that's you, to please, or your friends, to please help people reframe that, because right now it's a hard job market. And it absolutely is not personal. Those people don't personally know you. They saw you on a piece of paper and then they talked to you for 20 or 30 minutes. Maybe someone else just had more experience. Maybe they were already going to hire their cousin, but they had to go through the hoops. There's a lot of maybes, and the things that you can control are talking to people about that and hopefully not taking it personally if you don't get the interview, and practicing what you want to say in an interview. If you are most worried about a job gap, practice the answer you will give if someone says, "Why'd you leave your last job? Why didn't you work for 3 years?" It might be as simple as, "Hey, I was a stay-at-home mom." That's fine. "I was taking care of my sick aunt." That's fine. So maybe someone who can help you work through those might be really helpful. And of course, picking a job with a lot of hiring and job growth, that's something we've just talked about. I took everyone, because I was coming to speak with you all today. I polled everyone who works regularly in sort of some sort of employment services here at Community Connection. And I said, what do you see people want most for work? And what is the fastest to get employed in? Okay. And here's my top 5 list for you. Number 1, caregiving. Yes, sometimes it doesn't sound like the fanciest job you can't wait to brag to your friends at your high school reunion about, but it's an important job. Caregiving, CNA, medical assistant are a job where if you can do that job, you could move on and make more. You could go from being an IHSS caregiver, someone for people who have Medi-Cal, to doing it at a hospital. IHSS, you're making $18 an hour. Moving to doing that in a hospital, you could be making $30 an hour and get those benefits and work part-time. So, number 1, caregiving. Yes, that job is not for everyone. Yes, maybe you want somebody like me or Tori or Etika to sit with you and say, okay, but what would happen if someone threw up in front of you? If you're like, oh, I can't do that, then you're right. Probably not. Caregiving might not be the job for you. But if you can help people in those hard times, that is the fastest job to get into. and a thing that is always growing, that's not going to be replaced by generative AI or anything else anytime soon. Second job, hospitality. I love that hospitality has such a nice name. It sounds really friendly. Unfortunately, I think the challenge in hospitality can be the way that people treat workers in hospitality. If you want to go and work in that field, maybe having some mental health support to kind of get through all that can be helpful. In career services, we often have one person who's worked in hospitality for years go out with people because hospitality is still the only job where you can drop by with your resume in hand, meet somebody, and maybe get hired that same day or get a call back really soon. Most jobs, PetSmart does not want you to walk in with your resume. They're just going to tell you, sorry, please apply online. Most places now apply online. The difference, hospitality. Number three, peer support jobs. I think probably everybody at NAMI is some sort of peer. Am I right about that, Sophia? Do you have to be a peer to work with NAMI?
So we kind of separate it in two ways. A peer is someone who has lived experience of a mental health condition, and we also have loved ones or family members who are peers to each other as, caregivers or support people. So yes, you're right.
Nice. Well, that means that you all could do a great job in peer work if that is the thing you love. Peer work has been growing according to new laws with the state and government, particularly the state. There's a new thing called CalAIM, which wants to bring more peers into professional jobs, including certified peers. And that is in mental health support and substance use disorder specifically. So if you've had a struggle with addiction, you've conquered it, you would love to get paid to help other people and be sort of a example to other folks of what life can be like 2, 3, 5 years, 20 years from now. That is an awesome job for you. We love to help people get in there, and those jobs can be the easiest to disclose in. Right, because if you're working for mental health or a place that helps people who are recovering from from addiction, they don't mind when you're like, hey, sometimes I get depression. Sometimes I have headaches that are so bad I can't leave my house. And a healthcare setting is one that's most likely to be accepting of that. And finally, the last two. Number 4 is rare, but people really love it, and those are animal jobs. They're really hard to get into, but it's not at all surprising that people have social anxiety and sometimes find people a little much want to work with animals because animals don't do that to us. We are not usually worried that somebody's dog is judging how I just said something, or if my mental health isn't great today. Somebody's cat's like fine with it as long as I feed them and give them pets. Those jobs are real hard to get in this county, so we're happy to help you brainstorm about that. And again, you're like walking the dogs for WAG. You're volunteering at an animal shelter so that you can get current experience if you really, really feel passionate about getting into that job. And entry-level jobs for animal work, you got to be ready to scoop some poop. First entry-level jobs there, definitely holding a shovel and cleaning out an animal's enclosure. Or helping the, person who shaves dogs and bathes dogs and cats hold down a dog or cat who really hates a shower. Those are harder jobs, but generally, after we see people get into them, they tend to stay in those jobs a really long time because they're great. And that's why there's way less openings in that job. Number 5, I see people choose it a lot, and that is retail. Like we tend to think of retail and say, oh, there must be a lot of retail jobs out. There's not right now. In the beginning of the year, January, February, we don't really see a lot of retail jobs. And the biggest barrier I've seen for people when it comes to retail jobs is background checks. If you had some sort of misdemeanor, especially if it was related to money or like drinking in public, certain things that for some reason hiring managers who do background checks make value judgments based on, then it's going to be harder for you to get into retail. You can find out which employers don't actually background check. That's a solution, and that's a really smaller number. I always find it ironic that there's a lot of management jobs that are making 120,000 a year that never got a background check. But your Safeway cashier, they definitely had a background check. You're the person selling you groceries at some smaller places maybe don't background check, but truly most cashiers and retail jobs, even at Forever 21 and Urban Outfitters, are background checking. What can you do about it if you have a challenge with the background check, but you're really passionate about working in a field that will require that? Clean slate program. We're happy to help you with that. That means waiting until the conviction was 3 years or more ago. If you're in a county that does clean slate, like Santa Cruz, then you can apply to have your record expunged. And we're really lucky that we have that in this county. And I've seen the DA be really supportive about those things. There's definitely a lot of planning to be done there, but that can help you get in. And let's say that you have something that will come up on a background check, but it's a misdemeanor, it's not a big deal, it's not violent. If you have someone in your life to help you problem solve this, and again, that could be any of these programs we've discussed at Community Connection, we would help you out with that happily, or maybe your mental health support somewhere. Knowing how to disclose that can be helpful because just having a misdemeanor and sometimes a felony doesn't exclude you from a job, but you need to be able to say something like, okay, 5 years ago, when I had a problem with substance abuse, I got in trouble for carrying drugs, selling drugs, and a DUI. And there's kind of a there's a way to do this that sounds a little bit better, and people usually, again, we're happy to help you workshop a specific thing, but it usually is like, take responsibility and be honest for what happened. State how you've changed. Like, yes, that happened to me 3 to 5 years ago, but I have changed. I've been clean and sober for 3 years. I am now a peer support specialist supporting other people in their sobriety journey. And if you want to hear from someone, you could talk to my pastor or my sponsor or my neighbor who's really proud of me. There's ways to disclose that will hopefully not harm you in the long run. If you do have things like that would discount you from working in a place that does background checks, then you're going to want your support team to help you look at second chance employers that on purpose want to hire people who've been incarcerated before to give them a chance to get a job, make their life better, be a useful part of society. For example, Jiffy Lube. They love hiring diverse people, and they're a second chance employer who doesn't mind if somebody has some sort of arrest record and prior convictions. So that's really, again, we're looking at what kind of a job would fit, picking a job with lots of opportunities that align with your background. And a thing that I'm finding a lot of people truly hate right now, I mean, same, I don't mind checking email at work where I get paid to, but sometimes I have less joy about that in my personal life. So be sure to check your email and voicemail. Maybe just get a support team who's going to help you to hit those goals if you don't have that right now. And please, friends, be aware of ghost jobs and scams. Ghost jobs are now what we call in a bunch of jobs on Indeed and LinkedIn. You'll notice that I gave you a list of places you can look for jobs that I find reputable. Craigslist can have some unsavory ones, but they tend to be an easier way to get into a job, and some places just post there. Be careful more of Craigslist for things like scams. But I've seen people get really great jobs there, and I've never seen a food service or cashier place that posted on Craigslist do a background check. I don't know if that's an always, but I feel like if I found your job for a client on Craigslist, that makes it way more likely that they don't mind hiring somebody who has some sort of background and they're happy to help somebody get into it, or it's not a thing that you need for that job. Scams, if anyone asks you to pay for something to be employed, it is a scam. The only exception might be if you're getting hired at some place and they tell you you need to go pay for fingerprinting. Honestly, in my opinion, an employer should pay for fingerprinting if they want you to do this as a requirement of employment. And I think it's okay to have a kind, thoughtful conversation about it with HR about that. But I think some people might get away with that more than other people would. Like Tori is my hero on how to talk to people and get what you want, and I love it in a way that's really helpful. I have two great examples of that that don't matter for right now, but Sister is really good at it and I love it. So sometimes you can talk to an employer and be like, oh gosh, really? I heard some places cover that for fingerprints. Do you think you'd be willing to? So there are ways to ask an employer to cover fingerprinting, but literally fingerprinting should be the only thing you ever have to pay for. If they're like, oh, send us $150 and we'll send you, that's a deposit for a laptop for your work from home job, scam. Do not pay for something to start work. Just don't. Fingerprinting, the only exception I can think of, or like getting certified in something that job already required. Quick review of some more programs that might be helpful to you. Mariposa Wellness, those are our Watsonville groups. Family Partnership, they help families with kids who have mental health challenges. College Connection is just for Cabrillo students who are already enrolled. Opportunity Connection, we discussed that one. They've got art groups, all sorts of exciting things. Tori works really hard on their monthly activities, and you can go to our website, look under Community Connection, and find the actual this month schedule for OC outings. So, or groups. I love the music one and all the people who come in specifically to go to your music group. Tori, who runs that? Is that you? You do, huh? Oh, you totally strike me as the
No,
person who'd run that.
that one's run by Danica, but she is also a joy and a ray of sunshine.
Facts. Healthy Connections, that's the other program I run that I absolutely love. It helps support people in healthy eating and exercise, as well as has free food bags, including free pet food. We are open for that at both of our offices, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can just walk up to get a free food bag. If you want advice on healthy eating or a health coach, you got to sign up and do a whole intake. But if all you want is a bag of free healthy food, or pet food, you can show up to either of our offices Monday through Thursday and just ask for that. Obviously, not on holidays where we are closed. Boom. Done.
Thank you so much for all that information. What I'm taking from that mostly is I just really appreciate how expansive community connections programs are and how you all work together across the programs. You know, someone could be in career services and just be easily connected to all of the other amazing services that you have. And it seems really easy to do
I
that, kind of, hop from one to another, which I can imagine is so helpful for someone who might not know about all of these other programs that you have.
And the last slide, of course, I freaking cut that off before I gave you guys the last slide that has contact details for everyone. But
We can drop I'll go ahead and drop my contact details here for the recording.
beautiful. Thank you.
My name is Tori Durkin. I work with Opportunity Connection. My phone number is 831-212-5954, or you can also call our office and my extension is 209. And if you need anything, it's tori.durkin@ccsantacruz.org.
Thank you. And I will post the PowerPoint as well as your contact information on our website.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't believe, see, Tori, I love to fill a presentation in a way that allows me to either make it 15 minutes or an hour. But if you give me a time limit, I will try to be within it. Did we get any questions in the chat? It looks like Noelle has a question.
Yes, thank you so much for that presentation. My name is Noelle, Executive Director of NAMI, and I'm so glad to see Eric. I believe you're at the Mariposa Center, right? We used to have a support group there
Yeah.
many years ago, so happy to see that space. My question is, if let's say there's an individual that's already has a job and is placed in the job, but they need just like ongoing support, is this the place where they could come and still get that support even though they already have a job?
I think most of
I
our programs other than career services could do that.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can also help field that question. So if they just need mental health support generally, Opportunity Connection, we do one-on-one counseling. They do have to be a Medi-Cal participant to
Okay.
engage in that program. Also, Resilient Living could help with that as well. So we do have people across South County in Watsonville and in Santa Cruz to help with that for Medi-Cal participants.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you. That answers my question.
Okay, and I have a couple of questions. This mic, could Sophia could bring up the screen so we see everybody?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Hey, what a great organization you guys have, and these services are unbelievable. How big is your staff, and how many people do you serve on a monthly basis through all the programs?
Hard for me to say specifically with all of the programs because they're so different. I would honestly have to ask our clinical director or our director, Dagny. Um, we have more than 60 staff in the volunteer center, but the volunteer center also has empowered aging for seniors, a thing where you can go and volunteer to get your court fees removed. So we have a lot of programs, and all of those are run by 60 people. Community Connection is our largest. I want to say we have 30 employees-ish.
Okay, okay, that's really significant. And do you publish a schedule of like your different programs, like the day programs? Is there somewhere on your website that shows all the programs and the frequency of them and that kind of thing?
Absolutely, Mike. So for the Opportunity Connection, which is our day program, with we every month we update at least by the first of the month, we'll have the new schedule updated. And we will shift around and sometimes transition different groups. So always check there, but they are posted on the Community Connections part of our Volunteer Center website.
Okay, great.
That
And
is scvolunteercenter.org. I'll drop it in the chat for y'all.
okay, uh, and Noelle, it would be great for all the people on our help desk and our program teams to know about all these programs for referrals and things. And
Oh, sorry, Mike. I did not mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to say, would it be helpful for us to drop off some literature and referral forms for NAMI?
that would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do that.
And I'm guessing, is there a connection that you have with Sophia around some of your programs for our online newsletter that we send out to the community every other week?
I did just send over our program list, I think, to Sophia, as well as the referral form, if you all need that. And that is available in English and Spanish, both. And it'd be awesome to collaborate on getting that in the newsletter.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I also have some nice like half sheets if you guys want to like pass them
Oh,
out, and it has a lot of just like our general like free for Medi-Cal participants information. So I can either shoot that over to you or I can get some printed out and over to your office too, whatever you guys would prefer.
Yeah, that'd be fabulous. And a specific question I had was, and it was around kind of the career follow-up and things like that. Are you connected with like the Ticket to Work program through Medi-Cal?
Yeah, the only program that is qualified at this time for Ticket to Work would be Career Services. There might be ways to fulfill some of the other requirements for Ticket to Work within other programs, and I'd be more than happy to brainstorm on how to make that happen or get that covered if it's possible. But as of now, vocational rehab is AKA the Department of Rehabilitation and Career Services are the ones that take part in Ticket to Work.
Okay, and the reason I was bringing that up is the point you made around right now you can't follow up after 90 days. The in terms of people following through with people that are placed and things like that. My son is in that program and he has like there's like an independent organization that kind of looks after him for the next 7 years.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's really important. That's why when folks are done with their 90-day placement with us, we try to refer them as long as they qualify and have Medi-Cal to any of the other support programs. Because I think that ongoing support is really essential to keeping a job.
Yeah, and the big plus that I've seen in that is once you're in that program, you're guaranteed for medical coverage for the next 7 years, regardless of your earnings.
Now, I hadn't seen that because I hadn't seen that. Are you certain that anyone in that program doesn't lose their Medi-Cal? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I'm saying in terms of the medical coverage.
And you're certain because we've spoken with the benefits counselor, Scott Winslow, at the Department of Rehabilitation, and we have been unable to get some people covered by that. I would love more information about that, Mike, if you have it, just to pass along to our benefits person, because I think the medical aspect has been the hardest, and I love Ticket to Work as well as Working Disabled program
Right?
because they allow people to make way more money without getting cut off of Medi-Cal. Like normally it's less than $30,000 a year, and with this Working Disabled program, it's a lot more than that.
Okay, well, that's a program I'm not familiar with, Working Disabled.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. It just usually it's according to the benefits counselor at the DOR, he once said, quote, I've never been successful getting someone on that. And seeing as though his job is helping people with benefits, that did make me a little sad about
Oh,
Mm.
prospects for that.
on the Working Disability Program.
That's what he said that about, not the ticket to work. Most people through the DOR can qualify for that, but about the working disabled program, that it was just that hard.
Yeah. Uh, I'm not, I can try to send you what I know on that, but
Yeah, I love it.
I poked at that, a number of times, and everything I've been reassured that that's the case, and it's a huge benefit because it covers, all the specialized medicines and things that the individuals need
So
for
important.
7 years while they're employed.
Yeah. Yeah, anything you have to send about that, I would love it, especially now I have more research time per my boss about more things like this. So give me something good to read. I'm ready.
Okay. And if you could just put in the chat your email or
I
contact.
shall, yeah.
Uh, well, the programs you support are so critical for our whole community. And with the changes on the 80-hour requirements, that's going to be really challenging.
I do feel lucky that volunteering counts as of now.
Yeah.
That at least if you can't go and work, that you could volunteer X amount of hours and not lose it, but still, it's a lot.
And does the volunteer center have that capacity? Like, let's say when this does go into place, which I believe was like 2027, does it have the capacity to receive a lot of volunteer interest?
Yeah, because what we do is we just connect people with some of those volunteer jobs are with us, right? Like if you want, you can come volunteer in our gardening group with Tori and I, or at our front desk in reception, or down in our Watsonville office where Erika is right now. But most of the opportunities are also in the community, so that's very easy to do. In fact, the Volunteer Center, our organization, did volunteering for all of the shelters during emergencies. We were like contracted with the county. So yes, we can handle a ton of volunteers at one time, and we're connected to the community in a way. Like, again, those court community service volunteers are covered at so many places. And that's going to be like, you can volunteer at CAB, you can volunteer at Salud, you can volunteer at the LGBTQ center, possibly at your church or place of worship.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's so important because I think that's going to be the saving grace for a lot of people who are having challenges finding work or can't fit in the like harshness of going back to work with health, you know? Marina, did you have a question?
Thank you so much for the presentations and for everything you offer. I've heard of this meeting through Bella, and I've actually been offering to volunteer for NAMI. I found out about NAMI last summer. I've been attending connection groups online. And I have some health challenges, but I do have background in medicine as an RN. I opened my business, which didn't take off for last 3 years, related to emotional health support. And I've been looking for jobs utilizing my skills. And something happened where we were scammed of our savings 2 years ago. So I've been trying to find something to do and also to volunteer, because I found NAMI to be incredibly up to date for helping people with mental health challenges compared to other organizations. And so I just was offering like to even put together folders, because I attended the class with you, or do outreach volunteering. I just mentioned yesterday to Bella, like I like to talk a lot. So she said maybe just sitting in the event and just telling people about NAMI, so because I want to give back, and also I love mental health field. So um, if I guess I'll check on the volunteercenter.org. Is that a good place to sign up for?
Yeah, I put our link in the chat right there, scvolunteercenter.org. And you can go to our list of all of the volunteer opportunities. You could sign up to talk to a volunteer match, I think they call it, where somebody who is way more familiar with all of the volunteer opportunities, and they talk to you and say, oh, yeah, you should do this. Like if you have a nursing background, you like talking to people. One of the things might be hospice. I usually see them on there a lot, and it can be hard for people. Helping folks who are sort of transitioning out of this life
Right,
isn't for everyone, but there's probably a lot of volunteer opportunities for some.
right. I did hospice. I worked in
You
hospice
got to be a
for,
special person to do hospice with a big heart. I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I've been kind of depressed, so I don't know. Right now, I'm still recovering, and I have PTSD and psychosomatic insomnia. So I'm trying what I can
Yeah,
uh,
and it feels
to
good to
do.
volunteer.
It does, just to help people, and they know resources, and you could see that they light up, which is already a biggie.
Thank
But
you.
thanks so much.
Yeah. Hey, I see Alejandra is on here. Erika, that's the person I was loving for us to talk to about the Spanish presentation. Alejandra, I don't know if you and Erika want to DM each other or email, because I would love to help with any of your goals, but it just your request for the Spanish speaking one was kind of right outside of our working hours. So if we can do anything to support, I would love to help you. Hopefully you and Erika can connect. I just
Oh,
saw your name in the
Alex
chat.
left
Thank
already.
you,
I
Fleck.
will definitely
Oh,
deliver the message.
I'm so
I
sorry.
know
Yeah,
I
thank
just put her
you.
email in the chat too.
Noelle, will you and Erika make sure to connect?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that.
It's so important to me. If we're not doing well enough to serve all communities here and to serve Watsonville equally, I'm better, then let me know.
No, thank you. I appreciate all your efforts. Yeah. And then Erica, I'll connect you with Alex. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Noelle.
All right. I
Well,
think
I think I can speak for our whole team. The work you do is impressive. It's really, you work with your heart for all the people in our community that really needs the support. Your programs are right, on the bullseye of so much that's needed. So, major appreciation for your whole team. So, and
thank
and
you.
for sharing this, because by recording this, we can make it available on our website to so many people. And while the attendance here is kind of mostly our staff, they're working in the community, and this is going to be a big issue, has been a big issue, and it's going to even be more important with some of these work requirement changes. And this may be actually an impetus that will allow more people to get back into the work environment or into volunteering. So there may be an upside potentially on some of these, changes on requirements.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
so
Thank
let
you.
so let's look for the glass half full. And we'll keep filling it up with the work you're doing and the work our team is doing. So great appreciation. And Sophia, thanks for setting this up. And Jordy, thanks for your work in terms of translation. It's really a great value to us.
Thank you, Jordy.
Sophia, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Yes, thanks everyone for joining, and thank you so much, Community Connection team, for sharing all of this amazing information. So insightful. I learned a lot, way more than I thought I learned from exploring your website. So thank you for your attention to detail and just, answering our questions thoughtfully. We really appreciate your partnership and you being here today.
We love NAMI. You all provide a really important service, and I think I'm constantly telling clients about NAMI, and I think it's a wonderful agency to be a part of. And I've seen folks volunteer with you and work with you who really got so many self-care tips and so much support in community that it was obviously for them very much something that helped them succeed in life. So appreciate you all. If you
Thank
need
you.
anything, please reach out to any of the folks from Community Connection on this call. Or Sophia, we did send you the information for referrals and all that if you need it.
Yes, that's all going to be on our website
Beautiful.
and sending an email to everyone who's registered. So it'll get out there.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day,
Bye.
friends.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.